How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I know last week we had talked about you keeping a thought record for the week, so we could determine what your thoughts were and how we could reframe those from distortive thinking.
Mhm.
So now that you have completed the worksheet, how are you feeling about it?
Uh, I was gonna say, do you care to explain? I want to make sure I did it right. Would you care to explain the first bit of it?
Okay, so when you do your thought record, you will have your situation that you're in that triggers the negative thought, like what event led you to have those feelings. And
Okay,
then what was your thought? What was your thought triggered by that event?
gotcha.
Um, and then you would write that down and how much did you believe it? Like, and that's where you would rate it.
Okay.
And the emotion that you feel, and um, that's when we do the automatic thoughts and how our intervention is like, how could we change our thinking to something else? And then the evidence to that, and then we re-rate after that.
So, and I guess that's where the last two columns come in then. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. That's what we do today because we'll talk about the thoughts that you have on your record.
Okay.
So now we're going to go over the thought record together. And when you give me your thoughts, I want you to rate them on a scale from 1 to 10
Okay.
on how much you believe the statement. One is not at all, and 10 is you strongly believe the statement. So let's start with the first statement that you had on your worksheet. What was your first situation? What was your first thought with that situation?
The first one I have was from back on Tuesday. I was really stressing over different assignments for school. And I was kind of thinking, I think it's the automatic thought, or yeah, that's what it is. Is I'm never gonna get all this crap done, you know.
Mhm.
And so that was kind of the first thing that popped in my head.
So, how strongly did you believe that statement?
I mean, at the time I was really feeling it. I'd say probably about a 7 out of 10 if it's on a 1 to 10 scale. So,
Okay, so what evidence do you have to support that thought?
uh, I mean, I guess past assignments and, stressing at that point in the week, all my stuff's due on that Sunday. So,
What evidence do you have against that thought?
uh, I mean, I always tend to get it done, even if it's last minute. So, I mean, I guess I always get it done. So I don't know why I stress that much on it.
So, considering how you felt before we reflected back on it, on
Mhm.
the evidence, would you still rate it the same that you did?
I mean, I was still fairly anxious about it, still kind of am just moving forward, but I would definitely say looking at it with the evidence, I mean, definitely less anxious. I would say probably a 5 or a 6, reframing it.
Okay, so let's move on to the next thought that you had, the situation.
Okay. Uh, it was actually later that week, and it was similar to the first one, but it was just putting off schoolwork, uh, and worrying over that.
So, how strongly do you believe that statement?
Uh, yeah, I kind of looking at it like I looked at the other one. I have it at about a 6 out of 10. Still worried about it, but manageable.
Okay. What evidence do you have to support that statement?
I mean, the stressing out over it, I would say, again, just procrastinating and what I've struggled with before. I know I do it, and that's the tough part about it.
So, what evidence do you have against that thought?
Well, kind of the same thing. You know, I know I do it, and it kind of helps to set back and look that I do it. So realizing that, it kind of helps, to put it into perspective and actually schedule out better.
Okay. Now, considering how you felt before, reflecting on the evidence, and now, would you still rate it a 6?
I definitely go lower. I would say a 4 or a 5, maybe, just to, um, you know, since I've actually took a step back and looked. So,
Well, it seems as if reflecting back on the evidence of your thoughts has helped you shift your thinking some. So, if you think that this would still be beneficial, we could continue to do that, which you did make a change from your thinking once you evaluated it. So, if you're just mindful of that and you want to continue to record those thoughts, we can work on shifting your thinking and maybe talk about it again at our next session.
okay, that sounds like a plan. I appreciate it.
Okay.